Joining me now on this episode of Locally Sourced CP is a lady who she describes herself as a lady with many hats, Miss Heather Lutz. Heather, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I was very excited.
Oh no, I'm excited to have you on. Man, you do so much, and I was excited to hear that, to be able to reach out to you and you accept. Like I said, you're a person of many hats. You're an actress, a content creator. You're involved with the film commission where you're at, and also an author.
I am.
That's so cool. Heather, we'll jump back. I mean, what's some of let's talk about the book first, if that's okay. The book you just have out is One World United.
It
Um,
is.
Talk a little bit about that. I mean, if you can, summarize it a little bit, that way you don't give much away, and then
Sure.
that way we could pick people could pick it up and join it. But I mean, what inspired you to write this book, and what is it about?
So it's a political sci-fi set after the Third World War. And basically, all government is disbanded. United Nations takes over. They make their own government for the entire world called One World United. But like all government, they go through the same mistakes that we happen to go through time and time again. We don't learn our lessons. And the inspiration of this is kind of funny. I didn't, it's not my usual type that I read. It's not the usual type that I would write. It came to me in a dream,
Oh,
and I woke up and I was like, okay, well, that's odd. I went to work, I went back to bed, and it continued. And it did that for 3 nights. And when I woke up, I was like, well, I have an entire book. I have names, I have characters, I have everything. Like the book came to me. So I felt like it needed to be written. I had it written mostly about 10 years ago, and I didn't do anything with it. But then I kept redreaming it, and I was like, okay, well, this needs to be
wow.
told. I was telling Jack about it, my husband, and he gave it a piece of it to a producer, Troy Scouten, who's like, hey, I'm going to get you in touch with my daughter, who's a book publisher. And 6 months later, it was published.
Oh,
It
nice.
was a whirlwind ever since.
Well, this is like the literal term of follow your dreams, basically, because that's what
Absolutely.
that's just
And
so that's just so cool
that's a
that you're
literal
thinking it.
because when I
Yeah.
was 4 years old, they ask you when you're a child, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Mhm.
And I answered, I'm going to be an actor and a writer. And they were like, okay, well, that's cute. And then when I was like 12, they asked again, what are you going to be when you grow up? And I was like, I'm going to be an actor and a writer. And they were like, okay, well, we'll see. It's a good idea. And then when I was a senior in high school, they said, Heather, what are you going to be when you grow up? Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to be an actor and a writer. And they were like, Heather, you need some adult dreams. And I said, watch me.
That's awesome. That's
So,
so
yeah.
that's so cool, especially like like you're kind of an inspiration because a lot of people like they'll say what they want to do, but then they don't go after it, and that's just something cool to see someone that they've had this childhood dream of doing what they want to do when they get and become an adult, and that's just so cool that you're able to accomplish that.
My goal since I was a child was to always be able to prove that you could do it no matter where you were, what your circumstances are. I grew up and I was borderline deaf. I have hearing aids on right now, which is funny because you're in my head. It Bluetooths to my phone. Technology is amazing. Um, but I came from Deming, a small town. I graduated from Deming. I still work in Deming today. I'm a grant writer there. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I wanted to prove you could do it no matter where you were.
That's so cool. And then just like talking to you, I can hear the passion in your voice about your writing and what you do. And then seeing and then even seeing some of the content creation you have and that's just so awesome that you're able to do what you love. It doesn't really feel
Oh,
like a job when
yes.
you do that.
Right, exactly. They're like, what are you going to do today? I'm like, I have to adult. I have to do some laundry. I have to make dinner. But the rest of the day, I'm going to read The Second Witcher and I'm writing my book.
Yeah, that's
Those are my
awesome.
two plans.
And then you have another one in the works right now, is that correct?
Book two is in the works. I just name dropped it with my best friend who does content creation with me, Kylie with K Cross Creative. So I will name drop it here as well. The title is One World Divided.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm on the last page of chapter 5. So chapter 6 will be started today.
Oh, that's awesome. And then what's kind of your, do you have like a ritual or like what do you do before you start writing? Do you like, grab a cup of coffee? Do you lock yourself in a room? You tell Jack to leave you alone? What's kind
Actually,
of
I'm
your
okay with a little chaos around me. I tend to stand and write in different places, so I wander all throughout the house. Like I'll do it at the counter for a minute, and like I usually sit in like every single chair. It's funny because different locations I have to think and wander, and then I'll just sit down wherever I am and write a little bit. But no, my the first thing I do before I start any of that is I write in my journal because I feel like I have to just get my thoughts out so those thoughts can come in.
That's so cool. And then your book that's out now, One World United, if someone wanted to pick it up, where can we pick it up at?
I would suggest going to borderlandsmedia.com just because that's my publishers and she's got other books on there and merchandise and it's wonderful. It's a great local
Oh,
publishing
sweet.
company and
Yeah.
I was sure to do local.
Yes.
I could have gone with a bigger publisher. I could have, been seen more, done more, whatever, but I'm going to grow with this company. I am absolutely determined with it. So I would suggest going there, but it is also on barnesandnoble.com, Amazon. I mean, you can Google it and it's up on the Google Reads right now. It's pretty fascinating. You can even get it on walmart.com. I just noticed that yesterday.
Oh, sweet. Dang, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so cool, Heather. And
Yeah.
you've done other stuff too, like you've done some acting as well. What's some of the stuff that you've done, and how did you get into the acting part?
So, how I got into the acting. So, I've always wanted to act. It was very important to me that I found a way to act somehow, some way in my life. I've been doing it my whole life with my family. I'd be sitting there. My Uncle Casey would just start popping off on some, you know, um, acting skit, and I would join in, and we would do it for like 20 minutes. We wouldn't stop. So it's been around in my family growing up forever. The first thing I did was actually I got on Trans-Pecos, which is a wonderful film, entirely filmed in Deming. And the new Ghost Rider and Terminator, Gabriel Luna,
Mhm.
he starred in that movie, and he was so fun to work with, and he was so amazing. But I got on that set accidentally for one day as a thank you for driving some of the well intoxicated guys home. And they invited me on set. And the next day, they're like, hey, as a thank you, come on set. So at the end of the day, I went to the second AD and I was like, hey, where are you going to be tomorrow? And they're like, no, Heather, you can't come. And I'm like, where are you going to be? And so every single night I would do that. And every single night they would tell me where they were going to be the next day. And I ended up spending 2.5 weeks with them.
Oh,
And I
cool.
was there for almost the entirety of the movie and helped them with whatever they needed, and that's what got me started in film Luna County is I was able to get them vehicles that they needed and supplies that they needed and things for the set dressing. And it was so much more than I could have ever imagined. And the
That's cool.
experiences were so amazing. So it lit a fire that just never ended. When
That
I win an Oscar, I will be thanking them at Trans-Pecos.
sweet. I hope that'd be great because then it'd be like, hey, that's I interviewed her on my little show.
That's my goal. Well, it's not my goal. It's my dream that I can show that someone from Deming, New Mexico can do something like get an Oscar. I mean, it's not, I don't want the fame. I don't care about the fortune. It's not about anything like that. I have a very good life and I'm very happy, but I want to prove that it can be done.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool that you just kind of, I know it's like not really bullying, but you were just passionate about like keeping on with that movie and their locations. And that's cool how you kind of like, hey, I want to do this. And that's so
I
cool how you
made
just
myself very, very helpful. I helped anywhere I could. I
mm,
carried water jugs. I helped them dirty the cars. I helped, whatever they needed, I just jumped right in. I was dirty from head to toe, helping them do things. And they were like, well, okay, yeah, you can help.
yeah.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, there's and
and
I
they
know
asked if I wanted to be on payroll. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm just here to learn, you
right.
know?
That's so cool. And then like a lot of people don't know the hard work that goes on from behind the scenes that the PAs do and everyone else. I mean that it's some I helped the one time on a commercial and it was some hard work and it was like a 30-second commercial and I was like, hey, well, this is rough. I can only
I've
imagine
done
how
a
the
lot
movies
of
go.
PA work just for that reason. It is a great learning experience. And doing PA work, which is a production assistant, for those
Yeah.
of you that don't know, basically you just do all the fill in. You're the catch all for whatever else they
Yep.
need.
Yeah.
And I ended up working with some amazing actors like Mel Gibson. Kelsey Grammer, Dolph Lundgren. And there I am hanging out with these actors, and I got to learn from Mel Gibson. He showed me how he broke down a character and what he did to, figure out a scene. And I was just amazed. Where else can you do that but in the movie
Right.
business?
Yeah, no kidding. And then being able to learn from a seasoned actor from like that. That's so cool. Dang, that's so cool. I'm
Mel
jealous.
Gibson was amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool that you were able to experience that and basically, you know, like make your way into that scene. That's so cool. And then being a part of that film commission, that I was gonna ask you that, but you kind of filled it in. Like, well, what kind of what does the film commission do when it's part of a county there?
So it's brand new. There was a film commission way back in the day, but the people that had done it previously have moved on to brighter and better things, and good for them. But now I'm part of Luna County, and I'm a grant writer there, and I'm like, hey, I want to do this other project. And they're like, okay, as long as it doesn't interfere, do go ahead. And I was like, great.
Oh, cool.
And so I love Luna County. They let me get away with a lot of things when it comes to movies. So I got to be on this film commission, and basically, if people are looking to film in Deming, they submit a permit so that we know where they are in case they need anything, medical help, officer help to
Right.
shut down a road, anything like that. We've got them covered. And I have a list of locations they can use, vehicles that are on standby in case they need more vehicles, people,
Right.
actors, background, extras, whatever, makeup artists, all of that. So we just have a list of everything for them, and whatever they need, we try to help them with.
Oh, that's so cool. I'll be like, I kind of had an idea what like film commissions like do and like that, but I didn't ever knew like the I guess the extent of what everything they do, especially with the permits
I'm
and
not sure everyone does that, but
yeah,
we do the permitting because we have to know who's filming where. I mean,
for
if we
reals.
can't have a crew, blocking off a road and us not know why.
Yeah. I think like and I know over there in New Mexico they have huge tax breaks for filming and stuff like that too, and that's so cool. So I know a lot's going on over there in New Mexico.
Oh yes, it's finally blooming like I thought it should.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Well, Heather, I mean, I want to go back to your books real quick, and just um, that way everyone can know what it's about. Like, I want to push your book out because I mean, I want to get it now too because especially with the second one coming out, and I know my wife's a huge reader, so she'll probably read it in like a day because she's like a speeding reader freak because she goes through books like no like crazy. So I always tell her like, let's get you the what is it? The digital one. Because she always buys books and she'll read them like in 2 days. But she likes the physical books though.
So, there's nothing like the smell of a good book, and there's nothing like holding one and flipping the pages. And that to
Yeah.
me is what's important. And I'm hoping to get an Audible out soon. There's a lot more that goes into it than I ever thought imaginable. But I do have my physical copy.
Yeah. That's so cool.
It's amazing to have like your book on the shelf. I
Yeah.
go to Barnes and Noble and I see it on the shelf, and
Dang.
sometimes I just stand there and look at it, and people are like, what are you looking at? I'm like, my book right
Nice.
there. It's mine.
Dang, you took my next question away. I was going to ask you like how it felt walking into a bookstore or seeing it somewhere on the shelf at a bookstore and just seeing your book with your name on it. That's so cool that you're able to do that and that uh you feel so happy like that.
It's an insane experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I suggest it for anybody, create anything and just put it out there and see it in the world. The scariest thing I ever did was allow somebody else to read my work.
Uh-huh.
The self-doubt comes in, and it's, what if they don't like it? What if, it's terrible? What if nobody can understand my characters? What if they think the arcs are ridiculous? What if they think the aliens are too freaky and, non-relatable? And I'm going, but it's a story that needs to be told, and it's your work. And if they're buying it or enjoying it even a little bit, even enough to criticize it, that is their right. It is not, what's that saying? It's none of your business what people think about you.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same thing with the books. You once you write it, it's up to them. You're putting it out there for the world, and you just have to let it fly.
Yep, that's exactly what you got to do, and that's exactly what you've done, and that's so awesome that you've done this, and like kind of just showing that, like you said, someone from Deming, Nova, where you're from, can do stuff and just get things done and follow your dream, basically.
You have to. You only have one life to live. You only live once.
And then if there's any if I'll throw this like question out there to you, like if there's any advice you'd like to give, like anyone in your kind of line of work, either off being trying to become an author, content creator, or actor, or someone part of the movie biz, what would be like your piece of advice to them, to help them along a little bit?
I would suggest doing what you were supposed to learn in school. Write you an outline. And I say that for anything, for the content creation, for the acting, for following your dreams. Write you an outline where you are, where you want to be, and then fill in the spaces. And don't make them so big that you can't obtain them. If
Mm.
it's drawing, draw a stick figure one day, and then the next day put some arms on. And the next, what I mean, make them small, actionable items and just keep chipping away at it. And you will eventually get to a spot where you're like, hey, I have a published work. You will be, like my husband that sells commission art pieces because he's so amazing.
He is.
You will be an actor and be able to say, hey, I was on this. I worked this. I got to work with this person.
Yeah, that's so
And
cool.
it's just small actionable items. Even if it seems foolish. I mean, I once pestered a locations guy like for 20 straight days until he got me on Creed 2.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Dang, I mean you've done so much, Heather, and I can't wait to see what you do next. I can't wait for your next book. I can't wait to get your first one and try to start reading it. And you've done you're just an amazing person, Heather, and I appreciate you coming on my little tiny show talking about everything that you do. And I'll make sure I'll include the local link in the description below. That way people can go to that link and support local because that's what I'm all about. And I'll make sure I do that and I'll put your social medias. That way people can follow you, Facebook, Instagram, and also subscribe to your YouTube page. But is there anything else you'd like to say, Rad, before we end today, Heather?
I would just like to say that I would not have been able to make any of this possible if I didn't have a strong foundation of people. Even if they didn't understand my goals, they were a foundation. My best friends, Kylie and Des, they supported me when I was like, hey, I've got a random rant on this book. You know nothing about it, but hear me out. Or my husband when I can't sleep at night and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm thinking of if someone can, send a signal randomly from Earth to a point they don't know in space based on just one piece of code from a ship. And he's like, why now? And I'm like, I don't know. Or my mom and dad and my sister that are like, hey, are you going to write today? Did you write yesterday? You need to write today. It's just all of my family and friends. They've been so amazing. And once they know that it's not fleeting, they know you're serious about it. You'll be surprised the amount of people that will have your back in it. And yes, there are trolls as well because the world is mean
Oh
sometimes,
yeah.
but it's none of your business what they think about you, and you still have to keep going. Why not, do what you want to do instead of doing what you think they think you should do.
Yeah, for sure. And don't worry, Heather. We us here, no, even though we're in El Paso, we're not too far from you. We got your back. So whatever you need from us or from me, you let me know.
I am a firm believer that El Paso, Deming, Las Cruces, Lordsburg, Silver City, this whole little area,
Yep.
southern New Mexico, we're all a unit, we're all a family. I do a lot of work with El Paso movies and stuff too. I help out a lot of people there and I talk to them all the time. So anytime you want to do another one of these, you let me know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm up for it anytime. Thank you so much. Oh, well, Heather, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for everything. I'll make sure I'll put all the stuff in the description below. That way people can follow you. Get your book, keep updated on your new book coming out, and read some good stuff.
Thank you very much. And please keep creating. It is
Yeah.
important.
Thank you so much. You have a good day, okay?
Thank you. You too.